Alright, not much has changed since the Switch video. The Switch games were not in boxes, so technically today's our first unboxing. The box of PS4 games. Let's have a look. It's been a long time since I've looked through a box with PS4 games in it. There's the games at the top, a little sneak peek. It also has PS3 games in it, which we will showcase in another video. My PS3 collection is much larger than my PS4 collection. But we have some good titles to show you today. No, this box is not a case of Irish cream. I wish it was, but it's even better. It's got a few consoles in here, including my PS4, my white PS4, and hookups, as well as a couple other things. Welcome back to the series, everybody. Last time we unboxed and shelved our Nintendo Switch game collection. Make sure to check that video out, the first video in our Adding to the Game Shelf series. It'll be in the description and it should pop up on screen right about now as well. But without further ado, today is the PlayStation 4 as well as a tiny PS5 video game collection video. Thanks for checking it out. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps a lot and lets me know that you enjoy these videos because a lot goes into them. Last time we did the Nintendo Switch games alphabetical order before I even showed them to you. This was because I already had them in alphabetical order. This time, my PlayStation 4 games are mostly in one box, but they're not exactly in alphabetical order, I don't think. And there's other games as well that were kind of scattered that I've collected and we'll put in this video. So, we're not gonna have them in alphabetical order to start. After we put them all on the shelf, we will put them in alphabetical order. I'm so excited to have my games going back on display. As I said last time, it's been such a long time. I no longer have a game room like I used to, but just being able to have a space where I can have my one shelf, the shelf that I built myself like 10 years ago, and I've just restained it myself this year. Now I can finally have my games out on display. If any of you share that same sentiment, I would love to hear your story on your game collection. Just moving all these boxes that I've had the games in for years, from house to house to house. I've moved a lot. It's been a struggle. Without further ado, we're going to get into the first PlayStation 4 games. Again, not alphabetical order. I'm pulling them out of the box and showing them to you as I see them. I think that'll create an authentic reaction, which would be really cool to relive my memories with these games and showing you in real time what that's like. Our very first PlayStation 4 game to show you is Need for Speed for PlayStation 4. A game that I got for Christmas a very long time ago, it feels like. I cannot believe it. I remember asking for this when I was a teenager and being so excited. Man, feels like yesterday. I love the Need for Speed series, but nothing beats Underground 1 and 2 and Most Wanted. For now, we're going to put the PlayStation 4 games beside the Nintendo Switch games. At the end of this series, or as this series goes on and there's more games on the shelves, we might reorganize where everything goes. Just for now, I'm putting the systems on my shelf, which are easily accessible in the closet, as well as other ones that I'm more likely to play in the near future. Our second game for today is Terraria. It's got this really nice sleeve. It's the special edition and includes 3 character stickers, awesome sew-on wizard patch, as well as exclusive heroic art card. So that's pretty neat. This is actually my brother's. Or was it mine and then my brother just played it? I can't remember. This video would be longer with more games included if I still lived with my brother, but I do not. He has like a dozen of our PS4 games with him, like some Lego games and Minecraft and stuff, and a few others. But I took the majority of the collection, just because most of them were mine. We have Sword Art Online Lost Song. This was a great anime. I remember enjoying this a lot back in the day when it came out. Didn't play too much of the game though, honestly. I really should. But a gamer's worst nightmare is finishing that infinite backlog. We have a nice game that I got for really cheap at EB Games, or now called GameStop in Canada, called Lock's Quest. I think I got this for like $4.99 or something. This is when PS4 games, well, they still are going down and getting quite cheap. But this was in like the $4.99 bin. I got a few others like that as well, which were great additions to the collection. We've got 4 games on the shelf already, and it's looking nice. Our next game is Destiny. I have the white Destiny PlayStation 4 system, which came with this game, and I had a fun time playing this. This was a huge upgrade from the PS3, I thought, graphics-wise, and how fun it was to play online in this game. It was like pretty revolutionary, I felt. At least it wasn't like any game that I had played before. We have a classic, Rayman Legends, a great co-op platformer game. Can also be played solo, of course, but it was really fun with friends. When the PS4 first came out, I got this title, and I had a few friends over. We had a great time playing this and a couple other multiplayer games. Another one that I got for $4.99 in the discount bin at GameStop was Rad Rogers, another platformer. I have yet to try this out. I'm not a huge platformer fan, it's not usually my favorite genre, but I couldn't pass up adding a game that looked really nice, and it was only $4.99. It's been a long time since I've bought games, physical games. Because of my collection being in boxes for so long, I just kind of stopped. It just wasn't worth it. Because I couldn't really get excited about it because I would just have to put it in a box or a bag. So now I think I'm going to go out on the hunt pretty soon for more of those discounted cheap games for systems like PS4, Xbox One, because they're going down quite cheap. We have Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker Memory. This game was really interesting, actually. Not at all what I expected. The one thing I really can't stand though about this game is how long the dialogue is. Like, I'm sitting there like trying to skip through an entire movie of dialogue, and it was just a lot. It took forever to get started, and that kind of killed a lot of my motivation, so I didn't play it too much. We have Dragon Age Inquisition. This is my sister's all-time favorite RPG. It's a game that I also picked up. I think it was $4.99 as well, or maybe it was like $6.99, but still, it was really, really cheap in the discount bin again, and I've yet to try it. It's on my backlog. I've looked at it a few times and thought, man, I gotta play that. Now that I'm getting all set up, once again, I'll have more chances for that. I've heard lots of great things. And this game was another one of those multiplayer games that I played when the PS4 first came out, or at least when I first got the PS4, which was around the time it came out. This is fun. Just play it for 5 minutes or play it for an hour or two. The campaign is single player, and that was a lot of fun, doing tricks and trying not to crash. And the multiplayer is hilarious. Flipping over your bike or your ATV, trying to get to the finish before your friends do. Yeah, good times on that game. We have our first Resident Evil for PlayStation 4 here, not the only one. This is Resident Evil Revelations 2. I got this one because I was excited to play co-op with my brother, because we enjoyed Resident Evil 5's co-op. However, what I didn't like about this is that the second player is just a person who cannot do really anything. It's a great game nonetheless. I think you should try it. It's pretty scary too. Alright, I've just closed the blinds behind me, which has got rid of a lot of that annoying glare. Hopefully this is better. If you could quickly just write a comment saying that before or after was better, it would be extremely helpful for me to know what is better camera quality so that I can produce better content for you. Coincidentally, we have our next Resident Evil game right after the last one, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Gold Edition. We had the PSVR for a little while. We've since sold it, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't try it. I was too scared. My brother and I played this side by side. It was really fun. We're not finished yet, but next time he comes over, we're gonna keep playing this. Really scary game, really good story, and a great game to have in the collection. Next, we have our first Dragon Ball game of the PlayStation 4. This is Kakarot. It's on my backlog. That is why it's still sealed. I thought I'm not going to open it until I'm ready to play. And I keep looking at it going, am I ready yet? Am I ready yet? And then part of me, a very small part goes, but maybe don't open it. And now it's actually on PlayStation Plus Extra. I think it's Extra, which I just got for 3 months. So maybe I'll download it on there. If I really like it, I'll open this and play it. I think I would like it. I like the RPG aspect, which they went with. Leveling up your character, going fishing, flying around the earth. Sounds like fun. Our next title is Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse, Day 1 Edition. I pre-ordered this when it came out and I was so excited. Coming from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, Raging Blast and Raging Blast 2, and Battle of Z, I was so excited to hear that Xenoverse was coming in. It looked so good in the trailers, and it did not disappoint. This game was fantastic. If you haven't played this and you're looking for some fighting games, some good story games, or you're a Dragon Ball fan, definitely try out Xenoverse. Our next title is Dragon Ball Fighter Z Edition. I'm not really sure what that means, but it comes with a pass and day one DLC as well. This one I did not enjoy as much just because I'm not a 2D like side-scrolling fighter fan. I prefer the other style like Xenoverse. I can already tell the camera is way better now than it was. Apologies about that in the last video as well as earlier in this video. But moving forward, we will keep it this way. And sticking with the Dragon Ball theme, I've definitely put these in the box together and did not split them up. So here we go. We have Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Attention, all proud warriors. Have you ever considered joining Time Patrol? As a Time Patroller, you'll prevent history from being changed. Our duty is to protect everyone's memories and help return history to the way it should be.
This is also Day 1 edition. Again, I love the Xenoverse 1. I had to get this one as well on Day 1. Looks really nice. This game was awesome, even better than the first, to be honest, so definitely try them out. They're not too expensive right now, but you never know, they could jump. They could jump, like if you look at the prices of some older Dragon Ball games, like Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3, I think they are really expensive, even for Wii as well. And we have Far Cry 4 Limited Edition. I feel like this was one of my first games. Again, I was blown away at the graphic upgrade from PS3 to PS4, and this game really highlighted that for me. Coming from playing Far Cry 2 and 3, and then jumping to this, I was just thrilled. My favorite memory with this game was going near a pond or a lake and seeing elephants in the water just bathing themselves, and I thought, oh my god, this looks so real. So my Nana came down the stairs and I said, Nana, look at this, we're watching National Geographic. And she sat down and was like, wow, this is great footage from National Geographic. And after like 3 minutes of watching these elephants bathe themselves in this Far Cry lake, I finally told her, no, Nana, this is not National Geographic, this is actually a video game. And she was blown away, she could not believe it. And as I mentioned before, we did have Resident Evil 5 here. Again, I got this for not a bad price, especially for the few hours that I sunk into this with my brother. We had a lot of fun. We're not finished it yet, but one day. Most of it I played solo. He would join me for a little bit. I know this Resident Evil does not get a lot of favoritism amongst the series, so it's one of the only ones that I've played along with 7, Revelations 1 and 2. So the best ones I heard are the ones that I've not even played. So I'm looking forward to getting more and adding more to my PS4 collection. I would also get them for PS5, but when I have a series, I like to stick with, if I got one on PlayStation, I got the next one on PlayStation. I try to keep it to the same console, but getting it in the next gen is fine as well. For example, I wouldn't have Resident Evil 5 on PS4 and then Resident Evil 7 on Xbox. I try to keep, okay, now I have Resident Evil going on PlayStation, I kind of try to stick with it like that. I think that feels really good in my brain for collecting and keeping things sort of uniformed. And that's just one thing that I like to do. So I'm interested in hearing, do you care about that? Do you get like, if you were to have a series that you love, do you just get it on whatever console? Like, would you get the Need for Speed here on PS4, but then get the next one on your Xbox? So let me know. I do the same thing with like Sonic games, but that's really difficult because Sonic has been on so many different systems in such a long series. So I have Sonic kind of everywhere, which kind of, I wish it was more centralized, but anyway, our next game is a PlayStation Hits, which I really like the red cases for PS4. I think they look really nice. This is actually the first one that we're showing you. Actually, it might be my only one. I think my brother has a couple, but Horizon Zero Dawn. We have the sequel as well, digitally. These were fantastic games too, looking really, really nice on the PS5. And Assassin's Creed Origins, a classic, a great game to have. I love the ancient Egypt setting. This is one I've actually not played, but my brother loves it. And Shiny, my girlfriend, loves it. My favorite Assassin's Creed is Odyssey. I just fell in love with that game, the ancient Greece landscape. I'm a history nerd, so my degree is in history, but I focused on ancient history. There would be more games if my brother doesn't have like a dozen of them, but we have a few more to show, plus the PS5 games. Then we're gonna show console controllers. And we don't have many collector's things for the PS4 or PS5, but maybe we'll re-update this video in the future if we get some more stuff. Like I was saying, I might go on the hunt soon for cheap PS4 games, as well as my PS5 game collection, as you're gonna see, is not that impressive. So without further ado, we have the FIFA 21. I started getting into FIFA games. Actually, this was my first one that I really dived into. Not an exciting game to have physically in your collection. A game that will never go up in price, only really ever down. But I got really into soccer during COVID. My family are Manchester United fans, and now 5 years later, I am hooked. I am locked in. I've got almost every one since then, playing EAFC 25 this year. We have Starlink Battle for Atlas. This was actually one of my brother's games. I'm not sure why I still have it. He has the ship still. It looked like such a cool idea. I don't really understand much about it, but he said his complaint was you needed to have these different ships and buy these things physically in order to progress or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong there, but he said like the one he had, the starter one, just like wasn't that exciting or wasn't that great or something along those lines. Now, I didn't try this myself, but it was an exciting idea nonetheless, but I don't think it took off. I think it pretty much died. But if you have any more information for me on that, I would definitely love to hear it. And if you are a Starlink fan, then yeah, let me know how that is. Maybe I'll try it out and borrow the ships from my brother. We have Just Cause 3 Day 1 Edition. I was obsessed with Just Cause 2 on the Xbox 360. I just loved it. So I had to get this once I got my PS4. And again, the graphics were amazing at the time. Fantastic. Super fun, just blowing stuff up and grappling hook and all these fun things. We have The Crew, a great racing game for PS4. This series, I don't know. I kind of went off Need for Speed and onto The Crew for a little while there. I enjoyed these. The open world was fantastic. Played a bit of The Crew 2 as well on PC. I've mostly played PC games in the last few years. That's how I've survived getting through my games being all in boxes. And our last PlayStation 4 game, Grand Theft Auto 5. I had this on PS3, got it on PS4, played it a lot on PC. When will we get GTA 6? I don't know if we're gonna get it this year, but maybe we'll get like more news about it or even an official release date. But I think it's coming next year. So a respectable 25 games for the PlayStation 4. It could be larger. However, again, with me stopping for a little while, I didn't expand it too much. The Switch game collection could also be larger as well. The downside with that collection is that the games tend to stay very high value. So being on a budget and having all my games in boxes for so many years, I really didn't have a choice to really upgrade either of these consoles too much. But finally, we're gonna get into our PlayStation 5 games here. These are games that I did not have in boxes. Well, mostly because I had only 6 games for PS5, but also because I was playing them. So here we go with our first game, our first PS5 game that we ever got, Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. After the excitement that I had with Odyssey, I had very high expectations for Valhalla. And while it wasn't a fantastic game, I really enjoyed it. And the landscape on the PS5 was just breathtaking. I couldn't get into it as much as I did Odyssey. I just fell in love with Odyssey, everything about it. While this is a great game, it did not beat Odyssey for me. I'd love to know what you thought of Odyssey, Valhalla, Origins. What's your favorite Assassin's Creed game out there, and what's your least favorite? I know a lot of people diss Odyssey, so if you're an Odyssey hater, I don't know what to tell you. It's a great game. maybe you should replay it. Our next game here, we have Watch Dogs Legion. This was a cool game. It had a really cool concept. I had not played any other Watch Dog games. Graphics were fantastic. The driving was really smooth. Using the tech was really fun. Pretty good game. But went down in price so quickly. Like it's worth like nothing. I can't stand that about Ubisoft games and a lot of games in general with the Assassin's Creed, the Watch Dogs. They just go down so quick. I don't think I'm going to buy another one on release. When I got Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs is when I first got the PS5, so I needed something to play, and all the games were brand new, so there was nothing that was cheap. So I don't regret buying those games at full price, but it's just like, man, I should have waited. Here we go, our first Sonic game in this video, Sonic Frontiers for PlayStation 5. The graphics on this are just fantastic. Exciting when it was released. There's a lot of hype behind this. But if you know me, it is no Sonic Adventure, and I'm still waiting for Sonic Adventure to get a third or a high quality remaster on today's consoles. I think it would look awesome playing 1 and 2 on the PS5 with enhanced graphics. I really enjoyed the Sonic movies. The third one was fantastic. I loved it. If you haven't seen it and you are a Sonic fan, go see it. It's my favorite out of all of them. We have maybe our hardest game to complete, Demon Souls. This was a gift from my sister and my brother-in-law right around the time we got the PS5. It's on my backlog to complete. I played about an hour or an hour and a half of this, and I was pretty defeated at how difficult it was. And again, that's not enough time to play, so I do need to come back to this. Alright, we have another Ubisoft, Immortals Phoenix Rising. With how much I loved Odyssey, I wanted to keep that ancient Greek theme going with one of my first PS5 games that I got. This was neat. I liked the graphics. They're really bright, a little cartoony, but it was unique. I liked it a lot. Yeah, check this out. I don't think it's very pricey nowadays, but it's a great title. And our last game to show you in this video is my favorite PlayStation 5 game, Ghost of Tsushima, Director's Cut. Just an incredible game. So beautiful. The best graphics that I've ever played. By the way, Best Buy does not like to protect their games when they ship them. Very disappointed in this. It was just like a bubble mail, no protection around the game, and of course, something heavy went on it or it was stepped on or something and the case is cracked. So as a collector, a bit of a nightmare, but I can't complain too much. I got this for a very good price. It was a Black Friday deal for, I think it was $39.99 Canadian, which is very good. Regularly, I think this game is $79.99. Yeah, fantastic game. I thought I was watching a movie with the first cutscenes in the game. It was just so good. As a fan of Japanese history and Mongolian history, and then the invasion of Japan, combining both of those histories, just phenomenal. I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm working through it. This is one that I'm currently playing. We're gonna quickly organize these alphabetically and we'll be right back. There we have it, our PlayStation 4 games and PlayStation 5 games organized by console and alphabetically. We have a little bit of room on the end there to have some more add to the collection, but we're gonna start there with whatever we add next, which will probably be PlayStation 3. I think that makes the most sense. So with that case, we're actually gonna move the PS5 games to the other side of the Switch, so then it goes PS5, PS4, PS3. So the controller section of this video is going to be nice and short. My brother has, I think, 2 of the 4 controllers that we own, and one of them, I don't know where it went. It seemed to disappear from existence. However, we have one controller here to show you, which is my favorite controller that I own, but there's some unfortunate things to tell you about this. It's a little bit of a rattler, and my brother used to be very angry while playing Fortnite. The siding here is popping out, which probably could be fixed, but there's so much damage on this. I don't really use this. I'm gonna have to go get one of the controllers from him. We have a blue one, a camo green one, and then the white one that came with my PS4. I hope to find the white one again. But this is the Magma Red controller, which was discontinued. So it's quite a rare controller. So it's a nightmare to know, for me, that this controller is so badly damaged. I like to keep my controllers nice and pristine. So this is really just not the most impressive controller to be showing in a collection video. All right, so here's our PlayStation 4 console. It is a beautiful console. One of the favorites that I have. This beautiful white original model PlayStation 4 that came with Destiny. The only one that I want more than this one probably is the Destiny 2 one, which had the really nice pattern on the top. The only downside here is that it's a little beat up, just like the controllers. We do have a couple things on it that just won't come off. It's like something that's green and then something that's black there that, hold on, let's this focus. If anybody has any advice on how to get rid of things similar to this, please let me know, because I'm not really sure what to do with that. But otherwise, this console is just beautiful. I'm already getting a little bit nostalgic for the PlayStation 4. And it hasn't been that long since the PlayStation 5 came out in the grand scheme of things. We got another little mark there that I would love to know how to get rid of. But otherwise, a great, beautiful console. And we have the standard disc drive version of the PS5, the one that came out at launch. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss filling up the game shelf with other great consoles like the PlayStation 3, the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U, the Xbox 360, the original Xbox, PS2. Our next one is probably going to be PS3, so definitely stay tuned.